has layers of kauna to it. The first being that this stone is actually part of Hakipuu, came from the valley here, which is the home of Hokulea. So there's that link. There's a tradition, and this dates back thousands of years, where people, as they would voyage from one place to another, aside from bringing themselves and their food, they also brought their aina with them in the form of a pohaku. And there's a particular heiau that, for me at least, was insightful into that tradition in Raiatea, part of the Tahitian island group. There's a heiau there where voyagers for many years would bring their aina together so that that place would literally be a connection of all those various places that the people had come from. So it's in line with that tradition that this Pohaku is representing our place. Although it's not necessarily traveling, it is part of that tradition. Aside from the Pohaku itself, there's the designs, most prominent of which is this ki Pohaku, this petroglyph along the top half. This stone is meant to represent the earth. So it's not entirely spherical, but you can see that it's 360 degrees around. This design is actually a plotting of different places that Hokulea visited. I made this particular map to focus on Hawaii. So Hawaii is there, top, front and center. If you were to actually measure it out using 360 degrees around for the latitude, for the longitude, and then the equator is about here. So measuring back 90 degrees this direction, and then it's distorted somewhat for the bottom half because it doesn't curve back in, but then there's another 90 degrees for the southern hemisphere. You can actually plot out the coordinates for each of these places. So there's Hawaii. I left Hawaii to go to Tahiti. Here. This is Tahiti Ma, so not just Tahiti, but Raiatea as well as the other islands. This is Tonga Ma, the Cook Islands. This is Samoa Ma. This is Tonga Ma. And then she went over to Aotearoa. And there's 3 places in particular along the North Island that were that I focused on. So there's Waitangi to the north. There's Wellington, which is Tamaki Matarau, and Whanganui, no, I forget, Auckland. There's a Maori name, I need to remember that better. So they left New Zealand, they went to Australia. So these 3 people represent Australia. They came into the eastern coast, and they left from one of the northern coasts. The middle one actually represents the community around the Great Barrier Reef. So not necessarily just the land, but also out into the ocean. And then they went on. This one is Bali. And then, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's C-O-C-O-S. So Koko, I think, which is an island that side. And then they went to an island off of Africa. Shucks, I'm blanking on the name for that one. It's
Madagascar.
It's outside of Madagascar. Yeah, it's just a small island that they visited. Madagascar is about midway here, because this one is actually Maputo, which is Zulu land. So here's Africa. And one thing I didn't do was put the continents in, which kind of makes you have to look at the globe in a different way. And it's really meant to say that each place is important. It's not just the continents. It's not just the islands. It's all of us. Yes. Yeah, went out to Africa, and then that's Cape Town, South Africa. And from there, this one is, which one is This is South America. This is Natal. And this one is, so Brazil is right here. The eastern coast of Brazil, right here. What's between Africa and Brazil?
Mediterranean? Panama?
No, Panama is back this side.
Okay.
Again, I'm blanking on this one.
Like South Africa.
So past South Africa,
Going
we
up.
came this way. I need to, and this is a good
Bahamas.
reminder for me. I need to review the places. So I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Argentina.
So they went to South America next, and this is Brazil, Natal. They went over to the Virgin Islands, and then they went to Cuba, in Florida, and then this one represents New York and Nova Scotia. Came back down, went through Panama, over to Galapagos, then Rapa Nui. Then they came back. This is Pitcairn Island. I went back to Tahiti, and then they visited Nukuhiva for a bit, and then they came back north to Hawaii. This particular pico here is a reference to an ahu that they're building. Each time they've been passing the equator, they've been dropping stones. Each crew member brings a stone of their aina, and they have, in my mind, been building an ahu at the bottom of the ocean. So that pico is represented here, which is Kapiko Wakea, the equator, and then back to Hawaii. So each of these places are pico that Hokulea visited and touched, and then in between these lines connect all of these. So it's basically created a lei around the earth. These pico are inspired by the pico that we see in different places with petroglyphs, with the concentric circles. In my mind, these ones represent the couple that exists as far as people taking care of a certain place and being from a certain place. But it also reflects the ripples and the waves coming off of these places, not just of ocean, but just of ideas, word and whatnot. Aside from that, there's some features along the bottom half, and these were actually in creating this sculpture. I had to definitely have a discussion, a conversation with the stone, and certain things I was able to imagine beforehand and just create. But then, other than that, it was the stone just saying, this is a good thing to have. So there are some features on the back half that naturally created a design, a diagonal design. And once I started to kind of accentuate that, and I took it home, showed my wife, she said, oh yeah, you need to keep that. So I kept that, and I created some on the front. These are meant to represent the turning of the earth and the change that happens, as well as the movement of the wind and the currents, and also the idea of things coming together and connecting. Aside from that, just looking at it, there's some kihei that my brother had made up that also has this pico design, and I thought it was kind of reminiscent of the stone wearing a kihei on this front.
Oh, okay.
So different ideas of kauna. A lot of things I've like thought of myself, but other things I haven't. For example, these petroglyphs are very much from an ancient tradition, but as soon as I placed them, I etched them in and took a picture home, first thing my wife said was, that looks space age, it looks futuristic, and I really like that. So now that's part of the kauna as well. That it's ancient, but it's also future. Yeah, a bunch of things. So
Gee.
it's telling a story to us.
Can we take it?
My God. Yeah. Mahalo Kumu.
O Allahu okeli kukaha ialon ho ipono kaukala ikaina no o hahai manui nalan maunale hakahele kukaha ialon no ho ipon okeka
o ke kao makali I hokule I nā maho e puana I kea hei hei kona I ka leo kukaha I alonoho I pon e ka iwi kua mo o maihi kua hokule hiki anali I alupa me hana ia kamalam kukaha I alonoho I pon huina ho o ke le I ara e ke oihum o mana ia kalan o kalona o namo kukaha I alonoho I pon mehe iwa mehe